Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me preface my comments, Professor, on, first of all, acknowledging that in your position, where a lot of it is administrative, you also have the responsibility to testify before Congress, and I am very grateful to you for doing this. I know that it is not always the most enjoyable part of your day, but I also understand that it is necessary, and I do realize that while we may not always be philosophically aligned, I am grateful for your continued participation today. And to that end, I would like to ask you some questions, specifically with regard to what I think is one of the most important powers of the Dodd-Frank Act, and that is found in Section 1031, which gives the CFPB the authority to ban any products, any consumer financial product, service, or practice that it deems unfair, deceptive, or abusive. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
And to that end, back in May 24th, when we had the hearing here, Mr. Gowdy asked you a question as to how you would distinguish between abusive practice and non-abusive practices of these financial institutions. And the reason for that, of course, is because now that it's been in effect for a year, we're looking to make sure that consumers, as well as companies, know what to look for when they're going to be deemed to either be an abusive or non-abusive product or service to the market. And now that we've had a year, I want to ask you, again, because I believe your response in May was that we will go through the process of interpreting the language that Congress has given us. And I don't think that was quite where we want to be, what we need to know. And so I want to ask you again specifically, can you name any product, service, or transaction not already illegal that is unfair, deceptive, or abusive within the meaning of the Dodd-Frank Act?
Congressman, can I just start by saying we have not been in effect for a year.
You got 1 week to go.
We've been setting up for a year.
Right.
We will be in effect next Thursday.
Yes, ma'am. That's pretty darn close.
Okay. All right. No.
I'll give you 51 weeks so you've been in effect.
No, we have not been in effect.
But you've had an opportunity for 51 weeks to interpret and understand the Dodd-Frank Act. And getting back to my question, please answer this. Do you know of any product that is not already illegal, that is unfair, deceptive, or abusive within the meaning of the Act?
Congressman, I can recall no product at this moment.
Have you had any discussions with your team as to any such products, or how you will go about identifying such products?
I have not had a discussion with my team about a particular product, no, sir.
Don't you think that's probably one of the most important things, though? I mean, it's a power to ban, to stop the marketing of a certain product. Don't you think, though, that that would be something that you and your team should be addressing as you go into your first year next year?
Congressman, I appreciate the advice, but actually, no. I think that what we should be doing is concentrating on the places where we can best make changes in the marketplace. And that's, for example, in our TILA-RESPA form.
So would it be okay then that we just revoke the power?
Congressman?
Well, I don't believe me. I'm being very respectful, ma'am. I'm from the South.
So I think the point is that we are starting our work in the places that, for example, Congressman McHenry suggested was an important place to start, and that is where we can reduce.
We have empowered you through the Dodd-Frank Act to ban any such products, and you're telling me now that you've not even given it any consideration. Would it be safe to say then that there are no such products that you are aware of that are either unfair, deceptive, or abusive within the meaning of the Act?
Congressman, what I'm trying to describe is that we have priorities. And our first priority in terms of rulemaking is around the TILA-RESPA forms. We are trying to reduce regulatory burdens at the same time that we're trying to increase the understanding for consumers so they can make good product choices.
Professor, with respect to my time and yours, I will yield the rest of my time to Mr. Gowdy so that you may adequately answer his questions.
Thank you, sir.